Tonight's ballgame, Omar Infante is inside and low, so we're underway, and the count is 1 ball, no strikes. Home plate umpire tonight is Jerry Meals. Mike DeMuro's over at first, James Hoy at second, Dale Scott, the crew chief, at third. Infante thought about laying down a bunt. Maybe that was just to draw Pedro Feliz in at third.
Infante's done a very good job when he leads off. Kelly Johnson's been up there a lot, slumping a little bit. There's Feliz even with the bag. And against a left-handed pitcher, Bobby Cox decides to go with Infante, who's played well for him.
1-2 the count to Infante. He has a .386 on base percentage in that leadoff spot, or overall, and in that leadoff spot he's at .458 in the 10 games that he's played.
That's pretty good.
Look at that batting average, .405. And he loops that one in the air to shallow left. Jimmy Rollins has it, and there's one away. During the 2009 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs.
Threw a 92 fastball there and really jammed Infante. Good start for Cole.
Well, you mentioned before that his last outing before he turned the ankle, his fastball was in the low 90s, and that's really where he should be at this point in the year.
Yeah, and he has to get that fastball in the 90 mile per hour range to make that pitch more effective.
The change up and Escobar out in front, and the count 0-1.
So with Santana the other night, who's throwing harder this year than he did last year, and then he's got that seed squirting out of a great changeup off a 94 fastball, and he's unhittable.
Another change up, and it's 0-2.
That's 10 miles per hour difference. 92 fastball, 82 changeup. Anytime you can separate those pitches like that, 10, 12 miles per hour. First of all, it's really hard to do, but if you can usually win.
And he got him 3 straight changeups, 2 outs here at the top of the first inning. And Escobar will head back to the dugout. And Cole Hamels, with a very determined look on his face, has thrown 7 pitches, 6 of which have been strikes.
Yeah, as you said, Tom, 3 straight changeups. Maybe one of them was strike, and Escobar just kept on swinging.
And with 2 away, Chipper Jones batting right-handed. One of the game's best switch hitters of all time. And he has been a Philly killer during his career.
Cole's pitched well against this team, too. Chipper Jones has gotten his hits off him when he has 3 doubles, a couple home runs. And he's just such a great player as Chipper Jones. But Cole has pitched well against the Braves.
This is the 11th, or make it the 12th game for Cole against Atlanta. He is 6-3 with a 3.45 ERA. And he's dealing with Chipper Jones, who's riding a 27-game hitting streak against the Phillies. 2-1, a fastball up. A change-up hit in the air, straightaway center field. Victorino's got a beat on it, and it's an easy 1-2-3, top of the first inning for Cole Hamels. 11 pitches for the Phillies ace. No score. The Phillies coming up for the first time. First month and a half of the season. And Charlie Manuel's lineup that he sends out there tonight, brought to you by AT&T, your world delivered. Jimmy Rollins leads it off at shortstop. Shane Victorino, the center fielder, bats second. Chase Utley is in the lineup tonight at second base, hitting third. Ryan Howard, the first baseman, bats cleanup. Jason Worth, the right fielder, hits fifth. Raul Ibanez will be in left field once again, hitting sixth. The number 7 hitter is Pedro Feliz at third base. Chris Coste gets the start behind the plate, batting eighth. And batting ninth and pitching, of course, is Cole Hamels. So Jimmy Rollins is against JoJo Reyes, lifetime 0 for 13. But this guy, talk about being snake bitten, he hasn't won since last June.
That's unbelievable. Since last June, Tom, you see his numbers this year. He's been back and forth in the minor leagues a few times too. Phillies have had really good luck with JoJo Reyes in his brief major league career, but see, he's very tough on left-handed hitters as we look at the Southwest Airlines scouting report. 118 this year, 211 lifetime. Fastball in the high 80s to low 90s. Probably his best pitch is a slider, and he'll throw it to right and left-handed hitters, and he'll also use a cut fastball.
Oh, if you've watched his last few ball games, he has thrown that cut fastball a whole lot more, and they feel like he's been much more aggressive. So Jimmy Rollins leads it off, and he takes one of those fastballs up high. It's 1-0. Jimmy hitting .211 with a home run and 7 RBIs. He was 5 for 19 in the 4 games away from Citizens Bank Park. And he loops that one to left field. Moving over is Garrett Anderson, and he makes the grab. I wasn't sure if Anderson was going to get there, but it hung up for him. So Rollins is retired, and with one away, Shane Victorino will be the batter. Victorino is riding a 16-game hitting streak, which has lifted his average over 300. 19 RBIs. He has 24 runs scored this year, which is 4th best in the National League.
Back home here in Philadelphia after being in New York, and this place looks a little cozier.
It sure does.
Wow, that's a big ballpark.
A lot of people asked for comparisons, and I still don't think there's any comparison between the two.
Oh, they did a nice job up there, but this is just special here.
3-0 the count to Victorino. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Robert Gathercole of Coatesville, PA. If the Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game, Robert's going to win $100 thanks to McDonald's. McCafe coffees at McDonald's, a new line of lattes, mochas, and cappuccinos that are available. There's a strike on the outside corner, a fastball at 90, and you know Reyes won't go too much higher than 91 miles an hour. And Victorino lines one to left field, and Garrett Anderson again is there, and there are 2 away.
Well, as Whitey used to say, he's got him popping up. Two balls hit pretty hard here in the first inning. The first one was starting to die a little bit, but Jimmy hit it decently, and that ball was hit right on the nose. But Reyes, Phillies have had some luck with him over the years because of the fact that he has walked a lot of hitters.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Alex Rodriguez makes his return for the Yankees, and just like that, a 3-run home run. It's 3-0 Yankees in the top of the first inning.
They have really been struggling too to have the Yankees, and what a lift that has to be to get that guy back.
Well, it's a 5-game losing streak right now for New York. It's the longest since May of 2007. As Chase Utley takes one inside, it's 1-0. Chase hitting .318 with 8 home runs and 21 RBIs. You wonder what the return of Alex Rodriguez on the heels of Manny Ramirez's suspension, the questions were like for him tonight.
Relentless, I would think. Really bothered him in that first at bat, I guess.
They took it all out on that first at bat. Chase was 1 for 9 on the 4-game road trip for the Phillies. He's still bothered by that sore foot.
Yeah, that was a week ago tonight that he was hit by Pelfrey on that foot, and it's going to take a while. I mean, you get a bone bruise like that, they don't go away.
And Chase now zeroing in, zooming in on JoJo Reyes. And it's a pretty good breaking ball. And Utley's down on strikes. It's a 1-2-3. Bottom of the first inning for JoJo Reyes. Both pitchers throwing zeros up in the first. No score. Well, Bobby Cox is changing hats there in the dugout. Not much has changed for Bobby Cox over the years. This is his 28th season as a major league manager, his 24th in the Braves organization. 2,340 wins. You think he may have taken somebody else's hat?
Well, that one's a little big. And he's laughing about it, too, because it's coming down over his ears. Bobby Cox is a stickler, boy, for a uniform, to wear the uniform the right way, too.
Garrett Anderson leads things off here in the second.
You watch these guys in BP, they all have their jerseys on with their names on the back. They all dress the same. Bobby Cox, he has his way of running things, and that's it. And if you don't like it, you won't last around there very long.
Yeah, he's done it for so long, and he's going to do it at least through this year and most likely through 2010.
He very quietly just gets rid of players. You never hear much about it, but they're just not back.
See Garrett Anderson's numbers, 167. And he just came off the disabled list on Tuesday. And he's out in front of that pitch, and it's 1-2.
Cole was kind of laughing about that pitch he threw before that to him. That thing bounced way in front of home plate.
He just wanted to show them the curveball,
I guess.
Anderson stays alive as he rolls that one into the Phillies dugout. The Braves began the season with a 5-1 record, but they, like the Florida Marlins, have hit the skids since that time. Yet they come in 2 games back in the National League East, this logjam National League East.
Well, nobody's tearing it up, that's for sure. As you mentioned, they both got off to a good start, Florida and the Braves, especially Florida. The Phillies were just kind of hanging around, and then got 4 over 500. There's the Braves, and heck, they should have been 6-0. I mean, they lost that game here to the Phillies when they walked the ballpark.
And Anderson's down on strike. Second strikeout for Cole Hamels. And that's a changeup at 81. That had some interesting movement on it. It came inside almost.
Well, he'll throw it to the left-handed batters too. There you see that changeup grip, and necessarily not a good place to throw a change. See where it's supposed to be, where it winds up, and you can see he was wide open. That's a pitch you hit out of the ballpark pretty easily.
Brian McCann, just off the disabled list, takes a big swing and a miss at the first pitch.
He probably had it penciled in to come off the DL in this ballpark. Please, both his home runs this year right here.
I think just 195 as he hits that one the opposite way. It's slicing toward the corner, and it is a foul ball.
McCann got their season off to start with a home run the first game off Brett Myers.
And speaking of that home run,
there it is. And there it is. First inning.
It's to the second deck here at Citizens Bank Park.
Then he added another one in the third game.
Yeah, he's got a little different look to him now. He's wearing sports glasses or sports goggles because he has had so many eye problems since he left Philadelphia. Bounces that one foul right into the midst of Glenn Hubbard. McCann had LASIK surgery in 2008. You see what he's done against Hamels, and his eyesight has gotten worse since that LASIK surgery. Which you've heard that happen from time to time. It doesn't happen often, but he's seen 3 eye specialists. He's worn 3 different contacts, numerous ointments and drops.
He has a dry eye problem with contact lenses, and that's just anybody that's ever had that happen knows how incredibly uncomfortable that can be. It'd be very tough to play. You play baseball, with contact lenses bothering you.
2-2 the count to McCann. That one is smoked right at Ryan Howard. What a play on the backhand, and he'll take care of McCann, and there are 2 away.
Yeah, Hamels froze a little bit too on the mound and didn't get over there right away. I think he thought that was a line drive. But McCann, being a catcher, doesn't run all that well, and Ryan was able to beat him to the bag easily. Cole could kick himself a little bit on that because you don't want to do that with a fast runner.
Nice pick right there.
Good pick on the backhand, and then he sees Hamels a little bit late, so he takes it himself.
2 away for Jeff Francoeur. So much for not swinging at the first pitch. Francoeur fouls it back, and the count is 0-1.
I think it almost hit him, didn't it?
Francoeur riding an 8-game hitting streak. And he swings at the second pitch, and it's 0-2.
He jammed him twice. He has that open stance and he stayed with it. He was swinging the bat pretty well when we saw him early in the season. And having a lot better year.
Well, last year he struck out 111 times. And this year he has struck out just 11 times. So he's on pace to be to make much more contact here in 2009. And he strikes out there. Fastball from Cole Hamels. Third strikeout of the night for Cole. He has faced 6. He's retired all 6. We head to the bottom of the second. No score. The road. They'll be here in Philadelphia beginning Tuesday, May 12th. That's this Tuesday at 7:05. That's a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. Very limited seating available for all 3 of these games, but there are seats that you can still purchase here in Philadelphia, so you can log on to Phillies.com, and it all winds down on Thursday with the Citizens Bank Business Person Special.
13-11 they lost that game last night.
Yeah, they were winning 6-0. Then it was innocently 6-1. I think it was in the 5th inning. It was 6-1.
It was Randy Wolf went 6 innings and gave up 1 run.
That's right.
Then the bullpen just imploded. I was speaking with their third base coach today about some matters, and he said it was ugly.
Ryan Howard leads it off here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
But they had kind of a distracting day around there.
Absolutely. Saw what Ryan's numbers were: 291, 6 homers, 22 RBIs. And a breaking ball from Reyes. That's in for a strike. It's 1-1.
It was 11-9 was the score. Phillies had a 13-11 game with Washington. They won that game 11-9. Valone won it.
Howard out in front again. It's 2-1.
See why his numbers are so good against left-handed hitters. We put it up at 118 coming into this game, and he's throwing a cutter and a slider to them.
And Ryan's down on strikes. There's a fastball from JoJo Reyes, and he's retired 4 straight batters in this ballgame. Well, speaking of those distractions in Los Angeles, our Geico quote of the day comes from Chipper Jones. You can't have arguably the greatest pitcher of our era, arguably the 2 greatest players of our era, and now another very, very good player to be under this cloud of suspicion and not feel like it has ruined it for everybody. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. And ain't that the truth?
Yeah. You look at a guy like Chipper Jones, and you know, a lot of guys in this business who, what's the word they keep using? Clean for another term, use of another term, or lack of another term. And it certainly bothers them that they played their careers that way, and that there's a cloud of suspicion that they didn't. And there's not much they can do about it.
Jason Worth the batter, and Worth ahead 2-1. Well, the thing about Chipper's comments, I don't know what you think about this, Wheels, but it seems like more players are now becoming more outspoken about the use of steroids.
Yeah, before they didn't even want to say anything about it, but now it's starting to, it's personal for what we were just talking about, that they're all under a cloud of suspicion, you know, and they feel that they've conducted their careers the right way, and Don't look at me out of the corner of your eye.
Worth works out a walk. He's the first base runner of tonight's ball game. 8th walk given up by Reyes in 19 innings. And with one away, let the Raúls begin. Raúl hitting .343, which is 6th best in the National League. He and Chase Utley are tied for 4th in home runs. Well, they're becoming more and more creative with the with Raúl Ibañez's name.
You can do a lot with that name.
You sure can.
A lot of vowels in that baby.
I like the Ibañez.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And Raúl has certainly enjoyed playing here at Citizens Bank Park, as you see by those numbers.
He's very appreciative at the greeting, the reaction that the fans have had to him, and the way they have taken to him. Of course, he certainly earned it. And that's what you will do here. You will earn it.
On the outside corner, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
He's throwing really good strikes to these left-handed hitters because everything's away. You know, they may have to start diving out there and look for something to hit the other way if he has this kind of command with that slider and cutter. McCann's out there again.
And Ibañez was a little indecisive, and he fouled it off, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
This is another good strike, though. It was a pitch away and not in the middle of the plate.
Well, Reyes so far has faced 6 batters, and he has struck out 2. But he's thrown a ball to start each at bat off so far. Keeping Jason Worth close. That was close to a balk as Reyes was heading toward the plate. That one's hit in the air to right center field. It's way up there. Schaefer on the run into the gap, and he makes the catch, and Worth will head back to first. Ball went a pretty good distance, and it didn't even look like he got it on the good part of the bat. Monday night on Phillies Clubhouse, Matt Stairs talks about his status as a folk hero. Ryan Matson reveals the secret to his changeup. Jamie Moyer receives an honorary doctorate from his alma mater, St. Joseph's. A tribute to former Phillies manager Danny Ozark on Phillies Clubhouse, presented by Cherry Hill Toyota Scion. Monday night at 7, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Did the Dodgers third base coach talk about Danny Ozark today?
Yeah, we were talking about Danny Ozark today. That's one of the reasons why he called. The other reason, of course, he needs parking next week. But yeah, Danny was one of those guys, Tom. You had to like him when you were around him. He was a really decent, kind guy. He was always approachable. I was lucky. I mean, I just basically started, and he was a manager, and you know, he was good to somebody who was young in this business and helped you learn how to be a pro and learn the game. He was a big part of my life.
1 ball, 1 strike. The count to Pedro Feliz,
and he sure helped those players.
Well, to think about 3 straight National League East titles, and as you said, 2 101-win seasons.
Yeah, they just couldn't get to the World Series with him as a manager.
On the outside corner, it's 1-2 to Feliz.
And back in those days, it was easier. You know, if you won the division, and then if you won best of 5, you went to the World Series. So it was a lot easier to do it than it is now, and they just couldn't get over the hump.
Well, here's Danny Ozark's resume. Born in Buffalo, New York. I'm not even going to begin to pronounce what his real last name was. Yeah. Manager from 73 to 79, 594 wins. 1976 Manager of the Year. That one's off the end of the bat, and Escobar boots it, and everybody's going to be safe. It was just fluttering out there.
Yeah, had a lot of topspin because, as you said, he hit it off the end of the bat, and he got caught in between there, whether he could catch it or how he was going to play the hop, and the hop ate him alive. His only play probably was going to be at second. Here it is, right off the end of the bat. Now he would have been able, if he could have played the hop better, he had a chance to get Feliz at first.
Yeah, in fact, Worth was bearing down at second base.
Yeah, he would have had to go to first on that, and he just kind of misplays it, and there's got to be an error.
It is an error scored against Escobar. It's his second of the year, the 19th for the Braves. And Chris Coste, who is 2 for 3 in his at-bats lifetime against JoJo Reyes. Takes one inside. Phillies catchers just haven't gotten off offensively yet. Coste has done a lion's share of the catching because of the injury to Carlos Ruiz. Two and 0 the count.
Playing Coste as an opposite field hitter, giving him the gap in left center. Even ahead in the count, Schaefer hasn't moved over all that much.
That's what we're talking about the Phillies catchers struggling the way they are. Last in the National League in average with a 198 mark. 30th overall. And now the count runs to 3-0 against Coste. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Mets have taken a 2-0 lead over the Pirates on a 2-run single by Carlos Delgado in the bottom of the first inning. Jonathan Neese making the start for the Mets. And there's ball 4. The bases are loaded for Cole Hamels. Second walk of the inning by JoJo Reyes. Bobby Cox has seen JoJo Reyes these last couple of years, and one of the criticisms is that Reyes has nibbled. It looked like he was nibbling there against Chris Coste.
He kept trying to throw in on him. Cutters and fastballs in, and they were off the plate, and Coste took them.
There's Roger McDowell, the former Philly, the Braves pitching coach. Done a nice job in Atlanta under Bobby Cox. Cole Hamels hitless in 6 at-bats this year. And he takes one low and away for a ball. Ball 2. It's 2-0 now to Hamels. That's 6 straight out of the strike zone by JoJo Reyes. And with the bases loaded, Cole Hamels is going to probably take a strike here.
Remember the last time we saw the Braves, they were here and they were walking in runs.
The final game of that series, which the Phillies wound up winning. The Phillies have the best batting average with the bases loaded in the National League. They're hitting over 500. And Cole swinging 2-0, rolls one up the first base line. Reyes plays it in fair territory, and he throws it away. Worth scores. Here comes Phillies. He's going to score. And Coste holds up at third. And what a break for the Phillies. It's 2-0 Phils.
Bobby Cox will come out and argue this, too, that Hamels was in the baseline. But that's unbelievable that he's even swinging there. And then that happens. Now, that's what Bobby's going to argue, that JoJo Reyes had no lane to throw that to first base. Now what he's going to do is ask if he'll ask the first base umpire DeMuro what he sees.
I don't think Jerry Meals is going to go ask Mike DeMuro.
No, well, he had it right in front of him. There's not much he can ask DeMuro that he didn't see himself.
Cole Hamels looking on.
Bobby Cox has that look like he's very close to going and watching the game in the office,
which he's done quite often during his career.
Now here he goes down the line. His left foot went in. That play is always, to me, very hard to tell.
It's a judgment play because Reyes was in no position to make a throw in foul territory like that. And Bobby Cox is saying he had to throw it over Cole Hamels, and Jerry Meals is saying
So far, he hasn't said any magic words yet.
He's pretty close. What did you think?
Very close, but he doesn't want to go. They know what it is. People always say, how does a manager get thrown out? I said, you can say certain words, but don't make them personal. Now, see right here, he's saying that he has to throw it over him.
Well, he threw it over him, all right.
Threw it over everybody. But that whole play is so improbable when you consider the count was 2-0 and he swung.
And the ball was rolling foul, and Reyes fielded it.
That whole thing, for the Phillies to get 2 runs out of it, is very fortunate.
Well, it's an error charge to Reyes. No RBI for Hamels. Now the Phillies lead it 2-0.
2 errors in this inning, all unearned runs.
And Roger McDowell is going to trot out to the mound to talk to JoJo Reyes.
No hits. Ugly.
Yeah, and beyond All that, Reyes has thrown 1 strike to the last 3 batters, and that was the ball that Hamels hit. Roger McDowell was pretty emphatic with what he was saying to JoJo Reyes. That guy had a heck of a sinker, didn't he?
Oh my. Yeah, Roger threw pitches everybody thought were spitters when they first saw him, and there weren't. He just had a very big time natural sinker.
On the outside corner, that one just barely hit the black, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Jimmy had 5 hits in the 4 games, 2 in St. Louis, 2 in New York. Scored 4 runs, and he lines that one toward left center field. It's going to be a base hit, and it's going to be a 2-run base hit for Jimmy Rollins. Heading to second, and the throw gets away. Jimmy slides in safely. It's going to be a double, and the Phillies lead it 4-0.
Wow, you take advantage of those mistakes the way the Phillies did, and that has to drive the Braves nuts because they think the umpire made a mistake in this inning too. Hamels just kind of laughing about, I don't know what I'm doing, swinging 2-0. Bobby Cox not in a very good mood right now, and if Jerry Meals has any trouble with his strike zone, he'll be gone quick tonight. Good swing by Jimmy Rollins, really leveled off nicely on that. He's been kind of diving at pitches, hustles here and stretches a single into a double.
Schaefer got to that ball and may have had a play if the throw was handled by Infante. Escobar handles that one from Victorino, and the inning is over. The Phillies score 4 unearned runs. They get 1 base hit, and that guy is stewing right now. The error on the roller by Cole Hamels opened things up for the Phils. They lead it 4-0. Fans trivia question. Come on, Fanatic. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fan forums section for all the information. And please submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, which 2 managers hold the record for most 100-win seasons? The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. On a beautiful night for baseball, somebody looks like she celebrated a birthday. She's got the confetti in her hair. Casey Kochman leads things off here in the top of the 3rd with the Phillies on top 4-0. Kochman with a home run and 6 RBIs this year. And he has 3 home runs lifetime against Cole Hamels. 2 here at Citizens Bank Park and 1 in Atlanta.
Hit one of those last year with the Angels when they came to town, and Hamels pitched a real good game on a Sunday afternoon, but Kochman hit a home run in that game, and the Angels completed a weekend sweep. Phillies were just not very good during interleague play last year.
Until October.
2-2.
2-2. Kochman went around, according to Dale Scott, the 3rd base umpire.
Yeah, they won their biggest interleague
Yes, they
series.
did.
Yeah, they did all right in that one.
That one didn't sound good, but it works out well for the Phils as Ryan Howard will have his second put out in this ball game. And there's one away in the third.
Playing 4 left-handed hitters against Hamels tonight are the Atlanta Braves. And you know, a lot of times managers will play left-handed hitters to take a changeup away from a left-handed pitcher. Hamels will throw it, and so will Santana.
Throws a breaking ball there, and Schaefer takes it for a ball. The curveball came in at 74 miles an hour. See where Phillies is playing at third. And it's 1-1. So the curveball, then the changeup.
This guy had a home run. His first at bat. First game of the season, the Sunday night game here.
Oh, Hamels works the count to 3-1. Schaefer's the number 8 batter in this lineup for Atlanta. Good fastball in the inside corner, and it tied him up. It's 3-2. Hamels making his 12th career start against the Atlanta Braves, the most starts against any team in the National League. And he gets another strikeout. Another fastball. That's 4 strikeouts for Cole Hamels. And he has faced 8 batters. He's retired all 8. So it's been a good night for Cole so far in his return. And, you know, Wheels and I have a lot of folks up here that help us out, not only with what we do here in the television booth, but also here in the press box. And one of the best is Christine Connors, who's our stage manager. And Christine's dad, Jack, passed away today at the age of 73. And we want to pass along our condolences and our heartfelt wishes to her family and also to Christine.
Yeah, Jack's been in a tough battle for a while, and it's been tough on Christine and the family and all, and we do send our condolences along. She does such a great job for us.
Unbelievable. Yep.
You know, we'll miss her till she gets back and get everything straightened out, and just hang in there, Christine.
Yeah, and obviously the last month or so, there's been so much going on with Harry's passing, Danny Ozark yesterday, and you know, Wheels and I were talking today with the guys in the broadcast room, and we just want to thank everybody for all the cards and emails that we've gotten from all the fans out there in Philadelphia. It's the support, the outpouring support during the last month has just been unbelievable.
You know, all the cards, the mail, and we thank everybody so much. It's really hard to get to everything, and we do appreciate everybody's best wishes, concerns, and thank you so much.
1-2 on the inside corner. JoJo Reyes rung up for the 5th strikeout of the day for Cole Hamels. How about this? 9 batters faced for Hamels. He's retired all 9, and now it'll be Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, and Jason Worth as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. By Dodge. Live strong, live bold, live now. Dodge, grab life. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. A beautiful night here at Citizens Bank Park. It is Teacher Appreciation Night here at the ballpark. And there were a handful of teachers who were honored prior to the start of this game, including Chad Durbin's calculus teacher, Debbie Janot, who came in from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I met her in the elevator today, and she was very excited about coming all the way up here from Louisiana.
There is Chad. And Chad today said that his teacher made calculus fun.
How is that possible?
I have no idea.
That's amazing.
I mean, I had a great calculus teacher when I was in high school, but I can't tell you anything that I learned in calculus. I mean, she was fun.
Gives us a chance. One of my favorite teachers is a gentleman named Dr. William Capriati, who was teacher of Marple Newtown, and he watches the games at night. He was an English teacher, and I'm always gun shy about saying certain things because I know he's watching. But if he is, I hope he's enjoying the game. And thanks for being such a great teacher to all of us at MN back in the 60s when I was there.
Well, it's always a great night here at Citizens Bank Park. It was a great night at the Vet when they had it there as well.
Hey, teachers are so important in your lives, and what a great job they do.
Utley lays off a pitch low. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, I live with a teacher, Wheels, so I can't say anything bad about it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Chase struck out his first time up. One of 2 strikeouts for JoJo Reyes. Good breaking pitch. Chase down on strikes for the second time in this ball game. 3rd strikeout overall. There's one away in the bottom of the 3rd. Visit the official online shop of the Phillies at Phillies.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic team gear, including clubhouse caps and T-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the Phillies.com shop.
Well, the left-handed hitters 0 for 4 against JoJo Reyes tonight. Coming into the game, they're hitting just 118 against him, and now it's a little lower.
And you mentioned the lifetime average against him for lefties. It's only 211 coming into this ball game. Ryan Howard, one of those strikeout victims. Again, he's throwing a lot of soft stuff to the left-handed hitters.
Well, he's got a slider and a cutter, it looks like. So one's a little softer. He's a little bit funky, too. See how he kind of hangs back and jumps at the hitter. And as a left-handed hitter, you're going to have a little trouble picking the ball up.
Ryan lays off one low and away. It's 2-1. A lot of folks were talking last night after that game against the Mets, even though the Phillies lost it, about the home run that Ryan hit at Citi Field. Never did get an estimate of the distance, but it went over the 418 sign in right center. And this is how they got him out tonight.
He threw a lot of breaking balls. That was a fastball when he finally struck him out, middle in fastball. But all the breaking pitches set it up.
Breaking ball hit in the air, straight away center field. Schaefer on the run. He's not going to get that one. It takes a hop off the warning track, and it's a ground rule double.
Boy, that Schaefer's quick out there. All of a sudden, you look up, and he was flying after that ball. You didn't think he had a chance in the world to get to it, and he made some effort. Ryan Howard just reaches out, those long arms of his, great plate coverage, got a slider, one hands it off the end of the bat, and it jumped. And here comes Schaefer, and he can't get there. Good play on one hop by a ground crew guy out there.
And he was securing that handicap elevator. Jason Worth lines one to deep left field. Garrett Anderson's not even going to venture back. It's gone. A 2-run home run for Worth. And the Phillies now lead it 6-0. Well, the lefties have one hit against JoJo Reyes. The righties now have two. And for Jason Worth, it's his 6th home run of the year.
Looked like another slider. It was. I don't know whether he was trying to backdoor him with that one or get it further in, but he left it right out over the middle of the plate. And Jason, who was hot last night in New York, keeps it going here tonight.
And that means that Robert Gathercole of Coatesville, Pennsylvania, has just won $100. Compliments of the McDonald's home run jackpot. Here's Raul Ibanez, who has the count even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Raul fly to Schaefer his first time up in center. Jason Worth is now 8 for his last 16 with 3 home runs.
A lot of extra base hits in.
10 RBIs.
Well, that's what they desperately need, is a right-handed hitter in between these left-handed hitters to change things up a little bit. And when he's swinging the bat the way that he is right now, it makes their lineup real good. And Charlie's able to do what he's done for the most part this year, is have 2 left-handed hitters, then the right-handed hitter Worth, and then come back with Ibanez.
And Ibanez down on strikes for the 2nd out. 4th strikeout for Reyes. And with 2 away, Pedro Feliz will walk to the plate. Pedro's ball off the end of his bat his first time up kind of got the 4-run 2nd inning ignited as it was mishandled by Yunel Escobar for an error.
Yeah, and then a 4-pitch walk to Coste, 2-0 to Hamels, and hit that little nubber that they threw away. Jimmy Rollins with a 2-run double, and all of a sudden it's 6-0 here.
Chopper toward the middle. Escobar waits for it. And he retires Feliz, and the inning is over. But Jason Worth gives the Phils a little more breathing room. His 6th home run of the year. It was a bullet off his bat. And the Phillies lead it 6-0. Fanatic about reading night. It's a free Fanatics Parade of Champions book for fans 14 and under. It's a 3-game series, and it winds down on Sunday the 31st. The Expedix Chase Utley alternate batting helmet for fans 14 and under. You can get your tickets by logging on to Phillies.com. It's one of the best giveaways of the year. Top of the 4th inning, Gary Matthews settles in. Cole Hamels has settled in from the get-go. He's retired the first 9 batters he's faced. And he delivers a changeup to Omar Infante. Actually, that might have been a fastball. Yeah, it was a fastball for a strike, and it's 0-1.
He's been gearing up on that fastball, getting it as high as 93, and you can see the difference. He's able to get in on hitters with that fastball and be able to throw that changeup like now.
There is the changeup off the hands, but Rollins is right there. Second time that Jimmy has retired Omar Infante. And there's 1 away here in the 4th.
You can tell the confidence that Cole has throwing that fastball. It's just a small thing, but it's so big for pitchers being able to make sure they spot that in the right way and then have the velocity.
Escobar takes a change up for a strike at the count 0-1. Well, Rich Doobie's been working with Cole. Scott Sheridan, the Phillies athletic trainer. Mark Anderson, the assistant athletic trainer. Dong Lin, strength and conditioning coordinator. All those guys have done an unbelievable job trying to get Cole ready after that sprained ankle last Tuesday.
Well, it looked a lot worse than what it was. For him to be able to come back, you can tell he's feeling pretty good because he has to push off of that leg.
At the knees, a call. Strike 3. Escobar doesn't think so, but he's the 6th strikeout victim of the night for Cole Hamels. And it's the 2nd time Escobar has been retired. And Bobby Cox a little bewildered about his team's offense tonight.
Let's see where this pitch is, and it's, well, that's what you call paint right there on the outside part of the plate. Let's see how high that ball is, and right there down by the knees. I'd rather them call that pitch than one that would be high in the zone.
Escobar would rather himself be back up there at the plate. Jerry Meals, the whole plate umpire. Chipper Jones is 0 for 1. He flied to center his first time up. He was ahead 2-0 in that count as well. And he chops one over the glove of Hamels. Here comes Utley. Bare hands, throws off balance, and it goes right past Ryan Howard. And that's going to wind up being a base hit, I would think, for Chipper Jones.
I got to think that's a base hit. You don't want to give a guy an error that comes that far. Again, that's one of those plays, either a good play or should be a hit. See, Cole comes in, the ball a little too high there. As you can see, Cole's jumping up. Bare hands it in a nice way, just tries to flip it. And the only way you would have been able to get him is to do it exactly that way, but the throw was a little bit off target.
Chase a little frustrated with himself because he knows he got to that ball, and that may have been the toughest part of that play. He did a nice job getting to that area. So Chipper's aboard with 2 outs here in the 4th. And here's Garrett Anderson. Anderson struck out his first time up. And he lines one toward right field. Jason Worth on the run. He's not going to get it. One hop off the base of the wall. Jason plays it nicely, and Chipper Jones is going to be held up at 3rd. So back-to-back base hits now for the Braves. And they've got runners on 2nd and 3rd.
Garrett Anderson, good hitter from the left side. He's always hit left-handers pretty good. Like he jumped on a first pitch fastball. Worth getting that ball in. Chipper doesn't run like he used to run. Anderson holding up 2 hands, not because of the double, because it's 2 outs.
Good off-speed pitch from Hamels, and it's cut out and missed by McCann. McCann grounded out to Ryan Howard his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. At a very young age, he has become a very good hitter. And those numbers give you an indication of how good. He's got 2 in scoring position here with 2 outs. And it remains 0-2.
Well, he does take healthy cuts. Doesn't do a lot of bailing on left-handed or right-handers. And anytime you're hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position, you consider that excellent.
Moves his feet a little bit, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Oh, Brian McCann sporting those sports glasses, those sports goggles. 2 is better than 1. And the count holds 1-2. didn't realize Sean was getting that old where he needed to wear 2 glasses.
Well, they're used to a lot of times because it's more like bifocals.
Magnifies it a little bit,
Yeah,
Sarge?
it does.
Yeah. Another installment of Science by Sarge. Chopper toward the hole. That's going to find a hole. Right field. Worth has it. 1-run scores. Here comes Anderson. The throw by Jason Worth offline. It's a 2-run single for McCann, and the Braves are on the board. And McCann goes to second base on the throw.
You hate to see him come back and score 2 runs so far after you have 2 outs. This ball here just finds the hole. You know, Jason coming up hasn't been actually throwing the way that he normally throws. You can see how he just came almost off his feet and cut that ball.
Well, Francoeur swings at the first pitch. And Chase looks up into the twilight, makes the grab, and the inning is over. But the Braves do get their first hit against Hamels and their first runs on a 2-run single by Brian McCann. Phillies lead it by 4. Official soft drink of the Philadelphia Phillies, and by Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now. Now, the sold-out crowd enjoying their first-place Phillies. They commit to this ball game, half a game up in the National League East over the Marlins and the New York Mets, and they lead it 6-2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Ashburn Alley, always one of the best places to go here at Citizens Bank Park. There's always a whole lot of activity out there.
That sure is.
Chris Coste, who walked his first time up on 4 pitches, leads it off here in the bottom of the 4th. Coste did not play in the 4-game road trip that the Phillies had. He did not start a game. Carlos Ruiz did all of the catching in St. Louis and in New York. There's Carlos. Taking a breather tonight. He'll play tomorrow. And they count 2 balls and 1 strike.
The Coste has kind of changed his batting stance a little bit. He was usually starting down a lot lower and then coming up. He's up a little bit higher.
And he hits one in the air deep to left field. That one is way up there, and it's way out of here. Chris Coste with a solo home run. It's his first of the year, and the Phillies lead it 7-2. Was a towering shot off the bat of Chris Coste.
Wow, that's more like it. That will make him feel a lot better. That ball was driven out of the ballpark. You can see him giving all high five. There's his batting stance that you can take a look at. Well, I tell you, just little bitty things when you're hitting can throw you off, and little bitty things can get you going away again.
Chris went the final month and a half without a home run, and that's his first one here in 2009.
Yeah, that'll make him feel real good. Should even get him started going again.
And Hamels down on 3 pitches for the first out here in the 4th inning.
Let's take a look at it. Watch how he drives the ball. Before he was coming up, now look at that swing. I mean, it's just solid, straight to the ball. Not a whole lot of movement and coming up. When you move up, your eyes move up on the ball, and it's a little more difficult to hit the ball.
That was a towering shot, too.
Oh, boy. And then when you're hitting them in left center, that's where you want to be able to drive the ball. Nice going.
Jimmy Rollins is 1 for 2 with a couple RBIs. And he takes one at the knees for strike 1.
You know, more importantly, when they score, you want to come back and score. That'll make Cole Hamels feel a little bit better. He wasn't really happy with that pitch to McCann. And again, McCann's a good hitter. Good hitters are going to hit mistakes.
Jimmy chops one right at Chipper. And he throws it low, but Kochman is a very good first baseman. And they're 2 away. Hey, fans, there's still some time to purchase your Phillies season tickets. They're prorated. There's a 12-game partial plan or a 10-game Sunday plan that is available right now. You can call 215-463-5000 or log on to Phillies.com. Now, the sale ends May 12th. You get exclusive benefits like postseason access. Sometimes it's the best way to see the Mets and the Marlins games that are on the schedule this year. Again, log on to Phillies.com. Victorino's 0 for 2. And some bullpen action for the Braves. They've got a right-hander up and loosening. And it's James Parr. Victorino out in front. Omar Infante was looking for Jordan Schaefer, and then he had to look for the ball. And the inning is over. The Phillies, though, do get a run on the solo home run by Chris Coste. It's his first of the year. And it's 7-2 Phillies. Now, this is the start of a 6-game homestand for the Phillies and their fans. 3 against the Atlanta Braves, and then the Los Angeles Dodgers come to town beginning Tuesday.
Well, he's done that a few times here tonight, maybe 3 or 4 times, where he's kind of short-armed that changeup, bouncing in front of the plate. I don't know if that's from gripping it too hard or good curveball.
And the count 2-0 to Casey Kochman, who grounded out to first his only time up. Phillies have 2 home runs in this ball game. They lead at 7-2. Big swing at Kochman. As he went after a changeup, thinking it was a fastball.
That's what you like, having those hitters off balance. That's what that changeup will do to you. Andy Messersmith, back in the day, had just an awesome changeup.
Another changeup and another strike, and it's 2-2. Well, they always say for kids to learn the changeup as early as possible because, you know, like any pitch, it's a pitch of repetition, but I think it's one of the toughest ones to master, too.
Well, the good ones are.
Chopper off the hands. Hamels uses athleticism, and there's one away. Like Cole was fooling with Jimmy there, and he said to Jimmy, "You wanted that one?"
I will say that this group does have a lot of fun in playing this game. You know, they take it serious, but they know that it's a long season, so they don't get down on themselves when things go bad.
Jordan Schaefer swings and misses at the first pitch, so it's no balls and one strike.
That was certainly their MO last year.
Well, and we talked about this before, Sarge, but the fact that the Phillies have gone the first 5 weeks of the season without a victory from Cole, who came in 0-2, and with Jimmy Rollins hitting just around 200 for the first month of the season.
Yeah.
The fact that the Phillies are half a game up right now in first place, it's a pretty good sign.
Yeah, it's a great sign, and that's one of the reasons having Victorino hitting second, like your second leadoff guy. So J-Ro hasn't been getting on, and Victorino coming into today's game, hitting over 300.
And riding that 16-game hitting streak. Left side of the infield has been busy tonight with some pop-ups, in particular Jimmy Rollins, as he takes care of his third pop-up of the night. Finished the game with Marshall Harris and former pitcher Ricky Bottalico. His extensive game breakdown, plus player reactions from Kevin Walsh on Sloan Toyota presents Phillies post-game live after the game, only on Comcast Sportsnet. 2 outs, and here's JoJo Reyes. He struck out his first time up, and he's up there swinging this time. And the count, no balls and 1 strike.
If they had had runners on base, I'm sure Bobby Cox would have pinch hit. But now that there's no one on base, he'll have J.J. Reyes go on and continue to pitch. That's just filthy. Thinking that it's a fastball when it leaves his hand, you end up getting out in front of those. And at times when he gets into trouble is when he gets it up high in the zone.
Pop up into foul territory. Phillies over toward the railing with Coste. And the top of the dugout is where that ball lands before it shoots into the crowd. 72 pitches for Cole. Good split, though. 51 strikes, 21 balls.
He does look strong in coming back from both those injuries, getting hit in the arm and then spraining his ankle or twisting it. Pretty good pitch.
Got him. 7th strikeout for Cole Hamels. It's a 1-2-3 5th inning. He's retired 4 in a row since allowing the 2-run base hit to Brian McCann. Chase Utley will lead things off in the bottom of the 5th. Phillies for the inside and fun facts about the organization. Right now, check out the great ticket offer for Memorial Day, May 25th versus the Marlins. That's a Hatfield Philly Frank $1 dog night here at the ballpark. Sarge, have you Twittered yet about your new hats that are on sale here at the ballpark?
No, I haven't, but they are here. They look good, and they have your size, as a matter of fact. I did check some out, and realizing did not have a measurement of Tom's head at all, but I'm just going to go on and say maybe large or extra large.
I think it's closer to extra large than large.
But they are in. They're in. So they look good. I went by and visited a lot of the people today.
Well, Chase Utley's going to lead off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Chase is 0 for 2. He has struck out twice so far.
Yeah, on that breaking ball.
And he takes one on the outside corner for a strike. It's 0-1. We're talking about Twittering, and everybody seems to be Twittering in this day and age. And I asked Sarge if he was. I would think that it's something that you have a new line of hats that you should get yourself a Twitter spot.
You know what? I'm going to think about that. Maybe even have you help me with it. Okay.
I really would have no idea what to do with it, to be quite honest with you.
Well, we're going to get you in a hat before it's all said and done, one way or the other.
1-1 the count to Utley. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, Sarge, we said that you have a line of hats that are available here at the ballpark beginning tonight. What do we got going on tonight on your head?
Little blue Kango hat is what I'm wearing. The same one that Ryan Howard. He likes these hats. You'll be seeing him sporting these around too.
3-1 to Utley. Now, the amazing thing is that the hat matches your shirt perfectly.
I didn't even know that when I put that on. You know that? I just grabbed something out of the closet, and lo and behold, turned out blue.
I didn't think your luck was that good. 3-1 pitch to Utley. Swung on, hit in the air, deep to right field. No doubt about that one. Gone!
Woo.
Second deck home run for Chase Utley. How's that foot feeling, Chase? Must be feeling pretty good right now.
Boy, I tell you, that's one of those kind of angry type swings after he punched you out twice. When he hit it, no doubt about it, right into the second deck. Won't see many smiles, though, from Chase in the dugout against that front foot. He knew it was gone. Cadillac time. See how far it goes. Wow.
That's a great catch by that young fan right there, too.
That's why you bring your glove to the game.
Man. Ryan Howard fouls one away, and the count is 0-1.
Look how short and quick he is to the ball, and the sound of it, that tells you all you need to know. Well, you want to have a glove on the way that ball was hit.
Ryan went fishing on that second pitch, and it's 0-2.
Now, Ryan's done such a great job, not only fielding, but laying off of a lot of bad pitches so far this year. When you make those catches in the stand, you get high fives, too, from everybody.
Yeah, and the good thing is he's counting his blessings that it was a Philly, that he doesn't have to throw it back or doesn't have the pressure of throwing it back.
He'll be telling everybody, see there, high five there on how he caught the ball. And it's got to be an awesome sight, ball coming to you in the right field.
And that second deck, nonetheless. Howard down on strikes. There's the first out here in the 5th inning. And Reyes picks up his 6th strikeout of the night. And he's given up 3 home runs and only given up 1 in his previous 18 innings of work coming into this ballgame. Jason Worth homered his last time up. 2-run shot. He fouls one into the glove of McCann.
Has a lot of confidence when he's hitting against left-handers. See what he's doing for the year. Been very steady. Average starting to climb more. Now here's Jason in the 3rd inning. He hits a good pitch that was down and got extended on it. Just a line drive out of here. Well, you got to like the way that, I mean, he swings on the left-handers, and he just, again, has a lot of confidence. Pitch up over his head some.
Well, Jason's worked the count back even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Wheels mentioned it before. It's so important with that guy on deck and with Ryan Howard ahead of Jason Worth that Jason has good swings to split them up. And they need that right-handed bat to be productive from the middle of this lineup.
Yeah, he's strong from that side, and he should really be able to do just that. But keep in mind, Ibanez and along with Howard, those guys can hit left-handed pitching.
Upstairs again, 3-2.
And Jason, he has to like that, hitting in between those guys. Howard gets walks, he's hit doubles, although he can clean up the table a lot with those home runs, so he'll be hitting with guys that won't be on base.
They missed that pitch, and Frank Core is there. 2 away. Sarge always wondered something about a ball like Chase Utley hit. I mean, it's as clean and as crisp of a home run swing as you're going to see. What does it feel like?
Well, one of those, it's just like in the cold weather. You won't feel anything when you hit a ball like that. I mean, all you're hearing is just the sound. Doesn't vibrate off your hands at all. And I mean, it's just, when you hear the sound, you got happy times coming for yourself.
Ibanez hits a towering fly ball to left. Anderson puts it away for the last out here in the 5th inning. So the Phillies get another home run from Chase Utley, and their lead has increased to 6. What a swing by Chase. It's his 9th of the year. It's 8-2 Phillies. Grand slam against the Nationals. Ryan cleared the bases again in front of friends and family in his hometown of St. Louis with his 7th career grand slam. In addition to the power, the defense has been spectacular, eating up everything coming his way. Howard's cleaning up is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. 8-2 Phillies as we move to the top of the 6th inning. Phillies offense has come to life tonight with 3 home runs, but guess what else has come to life tonight? The pitching of left-hander Cole Hamels, facing the top of the order. And he has been throwing strikes in this ball game.
Well, it just gives the club a whole shot in the arm when he comes out and pitches the way that he does.
His changeup has been good. The fastball has been good. Fastball's had good velocity. And he's even thrown a few breaking balls.
Yeah, more importantly, been able to spot that fastball with the velocity.
Pedro Feliz takes the 3-hopper. Nice scoop by Ryan Howard. 1 away, and this is the kind of night Cole Hamels has had this evening.
Looks like a changeup. Notice how that ball fades away. Fastball as he gets Garrett. Boy, I'm telling you what, if you're going to swing at those pitches that hard, it's going to be difficult for you to hit them. But look at his control. That's what it's all about. His demeanor coming off the mound, and when you see him even right now, he means business.
Oh, and he even said that his last couple of outings that he felt like his control, that was the biggest thing, was getting back to where it needed to be. And he's been right on with that.
Yeah, I would think that any of the pitchers, regardless of how you throw, it's always location. You see him up to 78 pitches. Great split on balls and strikes.
No, he's gotten Escobar twice tonight on strikes. Jack Taschner's up and loosening. And you're probably wondering why. Well, you know, Cole Hamels hasn't pitched a whole lot. So they might have him on a kind of a short leash with his pitch count, because Charlie Manuel and Rich Doobie know that he's got to build up that arm strength again to go deeper and deeper into games.
Always good to be able to leave on a positive note.
Ball 4, so Escobar, 2 strikeouts, now a walk, and that's the first walk issued by Hamels in the game. Time to take a look at our Firestone leaders. As you see Rich Doobie charting the pitches from Cole Hamels. All-time home runs. Chipper Jones is 42nd with 411. Darrell Evans at 41. Duke Snider at 43. And Billy Williams, Mike Piazza ahead of Darrell Evans and Chipper Jones. Firestone, a tradition of innovation. Think about the career that Chipper has had. He has 2,301 base hits. And he's got a pretty good shot of reaching 3,000 for his career.
Well, you can, another indication is to see how Cole is throwing, getting Chipper to be off balance. But regardless, though, I think Chipper, obviously, a sure Hall of Famer. Great hitter from both sides of the plate. And he gives you that effort when he's in there. Obviously, those injuries have slowed him down. But leading the league last year in batting average was a nice accomplishment for him.
Hamels is going to take a walk behind the mound because he's walked Escobar, and now he's fallen behind Chipper Jones 3-1. There's Escobar in first. It's only his third 3-ball count of the night. That's how good Hamels has been. You see Chipper's career numbers, and a fastball that he blows right on by him.
Chipper in that rare category where he had more walks than strikeouts. It's another indication that he's a solid 300 hitter.
Ball 4.
Ball 4.
There was a fan that ran onto the field just as that pitch was coming in.
I just don't think it's worth it.
Worth it. It's flat out silly.
Yeah, just.
I mean, Chipper was up at the plate, and the cat that came on the field was already in fair territory down the right field line. And that's what the delay is here at Citizens Bank Park. All of that to shake Pedro Feliz's hand.
Well,
the Florida Marlins are going to be coming to town Monday, May 25th. That's Memorial Day, the unofficial start of summer. It's a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. It's a 3-game series. There are tickets available for the first 2 games of that series. The 27th is sold out. You can log on to Phillies.com and you can purchase your tickets for not only that game, or that series, I should say, but also the upcoming series against the Dodgers. Back-to-back walks here by Cole Hamels, and an intruder on the field has caused this game to screech to a A halt. Players wait the patron being taken off the field now.
Well, almost really a little bit of a blessing. Don't know what they would have done if Chipper had actually hit the ball, because he was already taken off. And again, I'm going to ask one of the umpires what's the ruling on that in the case that there's an intruder that goes on the field.
I think it's the play's dead. That's a good question, though, Sarge. Charlie Manuel's out to the mound. We'll talk to Cole Hamels. He has not signaled to the pen. He's at 87 pitches.
Trying to ask him how he feels, and he'll go on some of the other guys. I mean, with Cole, they'll come in and say, don't do this, or, you know, leave him in there.
Well, Chase said something to him as he came out to the mound. You know, Charlie may have been asking Chase what he thought as he was going out to the mound. Jack Taschner has been loosening up in the bullpen.
I tell you, these guys, I mean, they rally around each other, and it's just uncanny that they put no blame on anyone, no matter what the circumstances are, when they lose.
But they hold each other accountable.
Oh, absolutely. When they win, I mean, they get on each other like you have never seen, especially from striking out, making an error. And again, that's what you want, players to police themselves.
Here's Garrett Anderson with runners on first and second, and he takes a change up for a strike. It's 0-1. Anderson doubled and scored in the fourth. That's when the Braves scored their 2 runs.
Yeah, only hitting 184, doesn't have a lot of at-bats. He has been injured.
Back-to-back changeups now by Hamels, and it's 0-2.
He hit a fastball his last time for a double. There's the adjustment by Cole Hamels and going with some off-speed stuff. Yeah, it's okay to throw a fastball, but you'd want this one to be out of the zone. Well, you stay ahead of these hitters. You have the luxury to be able to throw the pitch you want to throw. That ball in on the hands of Garrett Anderson.
Bouncing ball foul right past Ryan Howard. Garrett Anderson with 272 home runs as a member of the LA Angels of Anaheim. He does not have anywhere near the spotlight that a lot of other players have had during the course of their career. But this is a guy who has 2,374 career hits.
He's done it very quietly. He's not a flashy player. Just goes out and do the job.
Rolls that one to the right side. Utley has it to second for one. Rollins over to first. Not in time. Just barely missed getting Garrett Anderson on the back end of that double play attempt.
See Ryan Howard trying to maybe cheat just a little bit and get off of that. Slow developing simply because the ball wasn't hit really hard enough as Chase transfers and throws that ball over. Jago having just a little bit of a problem getting it out. There's a nice toss there. You can see just a little bit of a hesitation there.
So runners on first and third, and this is no doubt the final batter for Cole Hamels at 94 pitches, and the Phillies leading at 8-2 here in the 6th inning. And a number to the right of the mound, and Cole Hamels has it, and he's just going to take it all the way to the bag himself. The inning is over. Hamels' night might be done. He's due to bat third in the bottom of the 6th inning. Very nice performance tonight by Cole Hamels at an 8-2 lead. your Quality Plus Ford dealers. By Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. And by McDonald's, introducing McDonald's McCafe coffees. Try hot or cold iced mochas, lattes, and cappuccinos. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Bottom of the 6th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. Phillies lead it 8-2. Chase Utley is one of 3 home runs tonight for the Phillies. It went to deep right center field, right over the Jeep sign that says "Drive him out of here," as James Parr is going to take over for the Atlanta Braves. So JoJo Reyes' night is done. This is the 5th game of the year for Parr. No wins, no losses, a 4.50 ERA. So Reyes goes 5 innings tonight. He allows 5 hits and 8 runs. Although he allowed 8 runs, 4 are unearned runs. As Pedro Feliz leads things off, it's going to be Feliz, Coste, and then most likely a pinch hitter for the Phillies. Pedro tonight is 0 for 2. He reached on an error back in the 2nd, and he grounded out to shortstop. JoJo Reyes threw 88 pitches in tonight's game. Two hopper right at the second baseman Infante. And one away here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Well, the bottom of this order has scored 4 runs tonight for the Phillies. Chris Coste is homered. We mentioned Chase Utley homered over the out of here sign in deep right center field. And speaking of out of here, that's what the Phillies players have been doing all season long since the passing of Harry Kalas. They've got his jacket and a pair of his white shoes sitting in the dugout here at home, just honoring HK's memory. Doing that not only with in their own way in the dugout, but they've got the HK patch on their shirt as well, their jersey as well. And there's that beautiful billboard out in left center field. 2-0 to Coste.
Well, obviously they respected him as if he was one of the players, and he would walk around exactly like that in the clubhouse. Very well respected.
Just saw Miguel Cairo in the on-deck circle for the Phillies. So we got to look at his patch over his Phillies logo across his chest. So he'll pitch hit for Cole Hamels. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count to Coste.
Coast right at that Mendoza line, looking to get over it, which is at 200.
Back at third, Chipper Jones with a long throw. Oh, he's back under that Mendoza line.
Yeah, just a little.
Did you know Mario Mendoza?
No, I sure didn't. Not one of those guys who really like to be close to that line, if you know what I mean.
Well, he never hit lifetime at the 200 mark. But.
Let me tell you something. Lifetime of 1 year, 2 years, I don't want to be anywhere near that.
So did you stand next to Miguel Cairo today?
I was next. I saw Miguel today. You know, we had a thing, though, and coming up, as you know, we wouldn't really pick up anybody's bat. It was going to be hitting 220, 200. It's okay to pick up Mays and McCovey's bat, though. Oh, boy.
Well, you were a rookie, so they wanted you to pick up their bat anyway.
I tell you, Gary Maddox and I sat right between Willie McCovey.
Pitch is outside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
And you grow up in that San Francisco area. I've gone from Matus, Blue Nun on the wine to the real good stuff.
1-2 the count.
You know, for initiation, Willie McCovey used to make us carry his big boom box, and I mean those were heavy.
Oh, back then, yeah, I think they were pretty big. Now they're an iPod.
Right, exactly. Wouldn't mind carrying that one. It's a good point.
Cairo fighting off one pitch after another. And the count holds 1 ball, 2 strikes. Miguel with just 1 hit in those 13 at-bats. He's made just 1 start this year.
Did well in St. Louis.
I thought he swung the bat pretty well in that start. He only had 1 hit, but he hit the ball, made some pretty good contact.
He has a lot of pride about his game. Very hard to maintain your swing as a pinch hitter if you don't get in a few games. Charlie's usually pretty good about getting his batters in there, from Dobbs, the guys that you see every day now. These guys almost like to play 162 all.
Cairo gets under that one. And Chipper puts it away for the final out here in the 6th inning. 1-2-3 go the Phillies here in the bottom of the 6th. We've completed 6. Cole Hamels' night is done. Phillies lead 8-2.
Well, it's time now for our Verizon Wireless game summary. Long ball for the Phillies tonight. Been really big in this game. Of course, Cole Hamels comes back tonight. He was outstanding through 6 innings. 2 walks. They came back-to-back. 7 strikeouts. 3 home runs for the Phils tonight. And they also capitalized, Tom, on 4 unearned runs back in that 4-run second inning.
Well, Jack Taschner, Wheels, is going to take over for Cole Hamels, who's been such a big part of this ball game. Wheels, I found your glasses.
Did Alex bring them in?
Yes, he did. Francoeur hits one in the air to shallow left field. Raul Ibanez makes the grab.
I just took a look over at you and I thought, that's a new look for you.
Jack Taschner in his 10th ball game. 1-0 with a 4.38 ERA.
You know,
everything is so much bigger. Here's Casey Kochman with 1 away. And Kochman takes one upstairs. It's 1-0. Everything is so much bigger.
You know,
Carl Graber's head is huge.
You know, I got to warn you of something. I used to do that to people.
Yeah.
I used to think how
Where
funny,
are you, Wheels? I can't see you.
Think how funny it was. They had to wear the cheaters and all. Retribution comes quickly.
Easy play for Utley. And they're 2 away. Wheels, you're not the only one.
Brad. Well, you know, you're at 40 right now, right, Tommy?
I'm at 40. Yep.
So you're on borrowed time.
Yep.
Once you get to 40, after 40, you got a chance to. Look at this.
Well, Greg had a nice shot of Chase Utley's home run, so I'm glad he was wearing those glasses. Here's Jordan Schaefer with 2 away. And Schaefer takes one a little high. It's 1-0. Schaefer has struck out. He's popped out to short.
I dropped them on the way back, and Alex in the press box found it. So thank you, Alex.
That one's just below the knees. Taschner has the count 3-0. How about the Phillies bullpen and the run that they've had? Jay Happ last night was outstanding in relief of Jamie Moyer. In fact, Jay went 3 2/3, allowed 2 hits, no runs in his outing last night. Clay Condrey, an inning plus of scoreless baseball. Phillies bullpen is statistically not where they were last year by the end of the season, but considering where they were the first couple weeks of the season, they've really turned things around and done a nice job.
Settled down for them a little bit, and it's had to, because the starting pitching has not been real good, and there are the numbers on the bullpen. But boy, Hamels, welcome back.
Oh, big time.
And you know, he was that way in the last 2 starts before the line drive, and then he turned his ankle in the other one, but he was pitching very well in both of those games.
Well, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank, with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. Martin Prado is going to be the pitch hitter for the Braves with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Prado, a .290 batter on the year with a home run and 6 RBIs. Schaefer, a short lead off first. So James Parr, who came on in relief of JoJo Reyes, pitches a scoreless 6th inning. One and one the count. So now it's 2-2 to Martin Prado.
Oh, what a catch that guy.
That was a great catch.
At club level.
Saw a young man catch the home run ball by Chase Utley. That gentleman didn't have his glove. And it's a good thing Greg in left field had his glasses on again, because that was a good shot.
Good shot of a good catch.
2-2 the count. The pitch. Hit back to the box. Nice play by Taschner. And the inning is over. So the Braves strand 1. Taschner pitches a scoreless 7th. Phillies lead it by 6. It's time now for the Dodge Stump the Fans trivia quiz. Answer: which two managers hold the record for most 100-win seasons? All right, what do you think there, Wheels?
Well, since it's the Braves over here, I'm going to say Bobby Cox is one of them.
All right, that is correct. Bobby Cox is one. And your second answer would be?
Oh, Joe McCarthy, huh?
Joe McCarthy. No relation, by the way, but both have 6 100-win seasons.
Wow.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans. And, you know, in this era of, you know, home runs and, you know, even some of the outstanding pitchers that we've seen in baseball, to think that we have Bobby Cox with 2,340 wins, and, you know, even Tony La Russa with all the wins he has. I mean, we have 2 of the top 5 managers of all time when it comes to wins managing.
And Bobby Cox has done it with 2 teams, Toronto and Atlanta, and La Russa were with the White Sox, Oakland, and St. Louis. 3 teams.
And when he was with the White Sox, he had that one year where he won the American League West, but, you know, he didn't really have great seasons. Here's O'Flaherty's numbers: 12 games, a 2.70 ERA. He's thrown just 10 innings during those 12 games. Jimmy Rollins hits one in the air to shallow center, and he's retired. So 1 away, and here's Shane Victorino.
We talked about those 100-win seasons, and we mentioned Danny earlier. Danny Ozark, he had 2 of them. 2 straight seasons of 101 wins.
You know, you talked about the fact that the Phillies just couldn't get to the World Series with those teams. What do you think it was? Was it just the fact that they faced the Dodgers in 2 of those years?
Well, in 1 year, the first year was a big red machine.
Absolutely.
They beat the Phillies 3 and the Yankees 4-7. That was it. They won the World Series. I mean, the World Championship. The following year was that Black Friday game. There we have to take a shot at Davey there, who's a great guy. Really like him now. He was out. And that game, you know, that just turned that whole series around. Then the next year, the Dodgers won the first 2 in Philadelphia. And the Phillies won game 3 out there, and then the Dodgers won the 4th game, and that was it. So it was kind of, and in '79 they lost almost a whole rotation to injury, and that was the year Danny got fired on. I believe it was August 31st of that year, and Dallas took over.
Victorino's 16-game hitting streak is hanging in the balance, just as it was last night, late in the ball game, and he got an infield base hit. You know, Pete McCannon, who is the Phillies bench coach, and you see Dallas Green. Boy, he was a great guy and still is for this game.
Well, he was a perfect guy for that 80 team in '79, because back in those days, somebody could really have the hammer on the players. It's tougher now.
Victorino out in front, pulls it down the left field line, and he's retired for the 4th time.
Dallas knew all those guys. You know, they had all. Those guys had all come up through the minor league system, and he was a part of that. And he knew them, and they knew him, and they weren't crazy about it.
Here's Davey Loeb's game on the line. Ground ball on Smith. To Boa. A throw. Yes! No! Not in time! This game is tied! To Larry Boa. What a recovery by Boa. We have an argument, believable circumstance.
He's out.
I don't know. You call.
Well, Wheels just did. He said out.
He's out.
And it looked like he was out.
Harry was right the first time.
That was a great play by Boa to get that ball in the bare hand.
Unbelievable play. And, well, it was that game was just one of the most amazing afternoons in Philadelphia baseball history. And if you're there, you'll never forget it.
0-2 the count to Chase Utley. Well, then in '80, the Phillies put it all together.
Yeah. 80, it all worked out, and Dallas rode them hard all year. And you know, most of them didn't like him very much until that went up. And when that went up, they all liked him. Charlie Manuel has never managed a team in the major leagues for a full season and not been above 500 with that team. Cleveland and the Phillies.
Well, he's been pretty consistent. I mean, even if you look at some of his minor league numbers, he was pretty consistent in the minor leagues too. Mentioned that Danny Ozark is 3rd all-time in wins for the Phillies. And Charlie became the 2nd manager in Phillies history, along with Dallas Green, to win that World Series championship. And he has 368 wins as Utley goes down on strikes in his career as a Phillies manager. 1, 2, 3 go the Phillies here in the 7th inning. 6 in a row retired by the Braves bullpen as we go to the 8th. Insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. By your local Chevy dealers and by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. Well, Friday night at the ballpark, where else do you go but Ashburn Alley? Got to hang out, watch a ball game, get a standing room only ticket. Maybe stop at Bulls, get yourself a pulled pork sandwich, maybe some ribs. Just soak in the atmosphere. It's a sold-out crowd of more than 45,000 on hand tonight.
All weekend expected to be this way. Boy, the fans are just so great coming out to this beautiful ballpark day after day, night after night. And Phillies give them a lot of entertainment for their dollar, too.
Well, certainly tonight. Cole Hamels went the first 6. He allowed just 3 hits. And then Jack Taschner, and now Clay Condrey. Clay is in his 3rd game in his last 4, and he has been a workhorse for this Phillies bullpen. This is the top of the order.
Well, the 8th inning is Madsen's in a tight game normally. This is a 6-run game, so they're going to give Condrey another shot, and that's workhorse.
17 games for Clay Condrey.
In game, what, 28?
Yep.
Yeah.
27.
27.
Infante smokes one to left center field. It's deep, and it is gone. First home run of the year for Omar Infante. And it's now 8-3 Phillies.
Boy, he crushed that.
He sure did.
That's one of the deepest spots in this ballpark. He got one up over the 409 and over the fence in that area. Between the 387 and the 409, that's a long homer. And he hadn't hit one since last July. Here it is. Condrey throws him a high sinker, and it takes a high, long ride. He knew it right away. He knew that ball was hit hard, especially from that location. All they do after that is start looking for the home plate umpire. Give me another one.
I think Omar Infante was looking for that ball. He was hoping the fan would throw it back onto the field. You don't hit them too often. He hasn't hit one since last July.
That ball's out of that big ballpark in Atlanta.
0-2 the count to Escobar, who has struck out twice and has walked. Nice grab by that fan, and Sammy out there on the camera didn't even flinch. Manned his post and didn't move. Jimmy Rollins should take care of Escobar, and he does. And there's one away. Well, this place is tough to get into at times, including this weekend against the Atlanta Braves. But if you want to come to a Phillies game, you can capitalize on the Grand Slam 4-packs. Pick a hot game like the Red Sox, the Mets, Friday Fireworks, or Brad Lidge bobblehead, and then 3 more of your choice for your own customized 4-pack. You can order now at Phillies.com. Chipper Jones stands in. He's 1 for 2. Fouls the first pitch off, and the count 0-1. Chipper is now 5 for 10 against the Phillies this year.
Chipper Jones, when he's healthy, is still a tremendous offensive player. He just had a lot of injuries the last few years, but when this guy has his health, boy, he is so good.
He's also a pretty good defensive third baseman when he's got his health. Hot shot to Utley, and they're 2 away.
Well, he had those years where he had to play left field, and that was not fun for him. He did not enjoy himself out there, and he used to play almost in the same spot, real deep, and he did what he could do. But you're right, he's a good third baseman.
Now Garrett Anderson will hit with 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. Anderson doubled back in the 4th. I mentioned before, Wheels, this guy now has 2,375 hits, and I don't know if he'll stick around long enough to get more than 2,500 hits or even 3,000 hits, but in really anonymity, he has had himself a great career. And the Angels were in the playoffs a lot while he was there.
Well, there's nothing flashy about Garrett Anderson. Now you watch him over here in this league a little bit. You can see he's very businesslike, very professional, and he was a heck of an outfielder. Played a lot of center field for them.
Rolls over on that one. And 3 ground ball outs after the home run given up by Clay Condrey in the 8th inning. The top of the 8th comes to a close, but the bottom of the 8th, well, it still beckons with Ryan Howard, Jason Worth, and Raul Ibanez. Tonight. In fact, they have 3 home runs, one by Jason Worth, one by Chris Coste, another one by Chase Utley, and they lead it 8-3. And now Jeff Bennett will take over. He's the 4th pitcher used by Bobby Cox. 14th game, no wins, no losses, a 0.71 ERA. He's got 12 strikeouts in 12 2/3 innings. Pretty high opponent's batting average as well. Hey, this game will encore tonight at 10:30 on the Comcast Network and at 1:30 a.m. Saturday morning on Comcast Sportsnet. So if you want to see this outing by Cole Hamels, he won 6 strong innings, and Cole was outstanding. His fastball had life on it. His changeup was keeping those hitters off balance, and boy, he had a determined look on his face for this entire outing.
He had great fastball location right out of the chute tonight. And around 91, 92 in that area, but in real good spots. His changeup, as you say, was outstanding. Mixed in a few curveballs, and he has to be happy. You know, he walked a couple batters in a row in that one inning, and that hurt him, or didn't hurt him. He gave up some hits, starting with an infield hit. It's like Brad Lidge needs some work, huh?
Yeah, Brad loosened up in the pen, and he probably come out and pitch the top of the 9th inning, even though the Phillies have at least a 5-run lead. And Howard hits one right into the shift. Escobar, the shortstop, is in position.
Have to talk about Cole Hamels with a bat tonight too, because that little nubber he hit keyed that 4-run inning that gave him a little breathing room right out of the chute.
Charlie has been looking for the entire package to be put together. A good night offensively and a good night for the starting staff. The starters, and Jamie Moyer talked about it last night. He said, you know, we're just in a rut right now. You know, they were averaging less than 6 innings per outing. And, you know, Jamie had a tough one last night. He just went 2 1/3. But Cole tonight answered the bell and went 6 very strong innings. And, you know, if he was stretched out a little bit more, he would have went even deeper in the game.
He went right around 100 pitches. They weren't sure what they were going to do with him tonight. They were just going to let it play itself out and see what happens. See if he got into a lot of jams, had to work too hard. So the pitch count wasn't the #1 thing tonight. It was just to see how the game flowed. And it was perfect for. I mean, Charlie went out there with 1 out in that inning, and talked to him. You know, you can see, you know, how you feel. We may have to get you out of here.
Jason Worth just plucked by that pitch by Jeff Bennett. There were a couple pitches that were over his coconut his last time up, and that one hurt.
This guy throws hard. This guy's a mid-90s fastball guy.
So Jason will walk the paint off as he goes up the first base line. Oh, did that get below the knee? I thought it got in the thigh.
It looks like it's around the knee.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Take a listen.
That'll be sore tomorrow.
Jason Worth leading off first, and he draws the throw.
Well, they're always going to throw over right away, because when a guy gets hit, a lot of times they run after that. The score of this game, you know, is not one of those scores where you say it's a no-no to run.
It's like last night, wasn't it David Wright?
Same thing.
There's Raul Ibanez, takes one low. It's 1 ball and no strikes to Raul.
Right after that pitch went over his head by Condrey, then he walked, and he looked like he wanted to go. And one time he started going and then slipped.
This Braves bullpen has the 9th best ERA in the National League at 4.14. You know, and this division seems like it's going to be decided by whoever's bullpen is the best bullpen, just like last year.
Yep. That's baseball nowadays. And, you know, you read the paper, you read the internet, watch television. Every day teams are on there complaining about their bullpens.
And you can go all around baseball. Yankees in particular, I mean, they would lead 4-0 tonight over Baltimore, but, you know, their bullpen has been awful in the American League, whereas the Red Sox bullpen has been really good.
Toronto's must be pretty good too.
Well, they're also clubbing the ball pretty good.
Yep, they're hitting a lot.
There's Roger McDowell, the pitching coach, to the right of Bobby Cox. Three-1 to Ibanez, and he shoots it right through the vacant hole that was shortstop. Escobar was shaded toward the middle, and Raul has his first hit of the night, 36th hit of the year. And the Phillies have runners on first and second here in the home 8th.
See, they play Ibanez with the shortstop in this area, and he will hit a lot of balls over here too. And that's exactly what he does. He hits one right towards the hole. If you're playing him as a right-handed pull hitter, then that would have been an out.
Wheels, I want to compliment you on your line on the telestrator. The ball went right through that line. Pedro Feliz tied up.
Those are my geometry classes.
Not calculus?
No calculus. No.
Talked about Chad Durbin's calculus teacher.
No.
being honored before the ball game tonight here on Teachers Appreciation Night at Citizens Bank Park.
I had trouble with those kind of classes.
1 ball and 1 strike.
Like history and English, stuff like that. Nothing with numbers.
Right, stuff that you can memorize.
Yeah, I was good at that, but not numbers.
That's why your bank account's all over the place, Wills. That one's hit in the air to right field. It's pretty deep. Francoeur going back. It's over his head and off the base of the wall. Worth is going to trot home from second base. Ibanez being held at third. An RBI opposite field double for Pedro Feliz. It's 9-3 Phillies.
Well, you see Feliz, when he gets one of those swings, that's when you realize what a good hitter he could be. Because he's so strong. Watch what he does with this. Nice and still, and then bang! Hits that ball right where it was pitched and hits it hard. Of course, it was a fastball, and he loves to hit fastballs.
And the Braves now play the infield in with Chris Coste at the plate. Coste has had himself a good night. He's been on base twice, and one time he never really stopped on base because he hit a solo home run.
It's a good job by the Phillies, and I keep tacking on runs too. This is where you can have a comfortable win once in a while. Here's Tom talking about Chris Coste home run. Jojo Reyes threw a fastball kind of down and away, and he hit it out of the ballpark. That was not a home run type of pitch. See Reyes kind of looking like, how did he do that?
Sarge kind of said the same thing about the pitch that Worth hit. That he was down and away, and Worth pulled it on the line.
Well, sometimes Worth like a lot of guys, they're low ball hitters, and you get the ball down in those zones and they can drive them.
Here's Jason. He scored 3 runs in tonight's game. That's over at the knees for a strike. It's 3-1. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Marlins have taken a 1-0 lead on a Hanley Ramirez leadoff home run. I guess not a leadoff home run. He's batting third for Florida. That came at the top of the first, the 6th of the year. Greg Dobbs waiting on deck as a pinch hitter. There's ball 4. The bases are going to be loaded for Greg Dobbs. Well, again, the Phillies have been the best team in baseball, in the National League, I should say, with the bases loaded. They're hitting .517. Let me correct that. They are the best team in baseball. They've gotten past. What was it, the Royals, who were the best team in the American League?
Yeah.
So Dobbs will bat here with a 136 average. Only has 3 hits and 22 at bats, but he still hasn't gotten himself cooking yet because he doesn't have a whole lot of at bats to do so. And he takes one low. It's 1-0. Dobbs' grand slam came against the New York Mets 2 years ago at Shea Stadium. It was a bullet.
Just inside the pole. Sunday afternoon game.
That one's hit in the air down the left field line. It'll go foul.
Ballpark is so pretty, especially at night when you get these shots of it at night. And when it's full like this, it is really nice.
Where the lights lit in downtown and Center City. Just got a piece of it, and the count is 1-2.
View from Ashburn Alley.
Count goes 2-2 to Dobbs. Mentioned the Phillies have 6 games here at home this week, and And Charlie Manuel was talking about playing better here in Philadelphia and getting that average or that record over 500 here at home. 3-2.
Yeah, they come in 6 and 8 tonight, 2 under 500.
Jimmy Rollins waiting on deck. And Bobby Cox just contemplating what's going to happen. 3-2, hit the opposite way, a base hit past Escobar. Ibanez scores, Phillies held at third. RBI single for Greg Dobbs. And the Phillies tack on another one. They just hit double digits in runs. They lead it 10-3.
Dobbs found a hole there. You mentioned, Tom, he could really use some hits. Got that ball off the end of the bat a little bit and had a little slice on it. No chance for Escobar. Right there off the end of the bat, and it slices away from spinning like a top when it hit the ground.
Jimmy Rollins stands in. He's got a 2-run double tonight. Bases are still loaded for the Phillies. Another hit with the bases loaded. The average climbs even higher. It's at 517 before that single by Dobbs. 0-1, slice the other way. Anderson makes the grab. 2 away.
Jimmy Rollins is just shaking his head right now. But the good thing is he's starting to hit some balls hard. Hit a ball fairly hard to lead off the game for an out, then the double. That ball was hit right on the nose. So, you know, he starts to do that, he'll be Jimmy Rollins. He'll start to get a lot of hits.
And now Victorino, his average at the beginning of the night was at 304, but he's 0 for 4.
You know, and if that's a close game and not a 7-run game, you probably take a shot at a sac fly. That was a professional courtesy thing on Sam Perlazzo's part. Also, it was holding Feliz on the ball hit by Dobbs, because you could have tried to score him then too if you really need that run. But there comes a certain point in games where third base coaches will hold guys up.
0-2 to Victorino, whose 16-game hitting streak is still out there. It's a career high. Hit that grand slam in Florida a couple weeks ago. By the way, Ryan Zimmerman has the longest hitting streak in the league this year, and it's still going. It's at 25 games.
Yeah, he had 2 more hits last night in that win.
1-2, hit on a hop towards second. Oh, Infante nearly barehanded that ball, and Victorino's retired. 8 men come to the plate of the inning. The Phillies scored 2. They strand the bases loaded, but we head to the 9th with the Phillies leading it by 7. left against the Braves, and then 3 against the Dodgers beginning on Tuesday. It begins with MyPHL 17 at 7 o'clock, and then Comcast Sportsnet the next 2 days. The Nationals are here, or the Phillies are in Washington, next weekend, and then it's off to Cincinnati for 3, and then to Yankee Stadium. Take on the Yankees in a 3-game set.
Took a little ride by there last night on the way home. I know you said you had seen it. Well, the bus went over the George Washington Bridge last night, and man, that place looks like it's twice the size as the other Yankees.
It's gigantic.
Yeah.
Better be for $1 billion.
Right. It's really big.
Well, Brad Lidge on for some extra work. See his numbers: 6.75 ERA. And I'm not sure why they haven't taken down old Yankee Stadium. I guess there's some question about who's going to pay for taking that stadium down. They can't implode it like the vet was. Remember the vet was imploded.
And they couldn't do that to Shea either.
Right. So Lidge is on here in the top of the 9th inning. It is not a save situation, but he needs some work, and Charlie Emanuel more than happy to oblige as Brian McCann will lead it off. And the first pitch to McCann, and it's 1-0.
Well, what they want from Lidge right now, as you said, Tommy, needs work. They want him to not work. Go out and have a quick inning, send everybody home.
A couple weeks ago, Brad was in a situation like this, and it was a much closer game. It wasn't a save situation. He said that he loaded up the bases. He goes, okay, that's when the adrenaline started to flow. But he said, I didn't really want it to be that way.
That was that game with the Padres, and the Phillies had fallen behind in that game.
2-0 the count to McCann, who's got a base hit tonight, a couple RBIs. And that pitch must have been inside. Couldn't have been high, right?
He called him high.
Three and 1. Heard Chipper Jones's comments before about Manny Ramirez. Brad Lidge came out with some pretty strong comments last night. Ball 4. McCann is aboard to lead off the 9th inning with a walk. And that's all part of what we were saying, that some of the premier players, the star players in this game, are becoming a little more outspoken about the illegal substance usage by some of the guys in Major League Baseball, and I think that's a good thing.
Agreed. And you can't blame him.
Francour's 0 for 3. It's the first pitch down the right field line. Long run for Worth. Still coming. Dives. He can't get it. It's a fair ball, and it kicks away from him. McCann was halfway between first and second, so he's going to stumble to third. And Francour is going to hang on at second base. So the Braves have runners on second and third to begin this 9th inning, and I think Jason Worth is a little frustrated right now.
Yeah, well, you wonder if he's running as well too after getting hit on the knee by that pitch, and he can't quite get there, and then it goes down the line. And McCann and Francour are great friends, and to see McCann's not sure what to do, he's headed back, and out Francour is coming right behind him, and he's got to say, I gotta let my buddy just get over to third, and then I'll just trot into second. Two guys, Georgia guys,
played against each other when they were kids. There's Casey Kochman.
See, this is what happens a lot of times. These guys come in to get work like this. And you mentioned last inning where they're not trying to maybe score as many runs, and in this ballpark, that you never know.
That one's hit in the air to left field. It's pretty deep. Ibanez is back to the warning track, to the wall, and it's gone. 3-run home run. And this is a 4-run ball game.
Well, Lidge is already way over the number of home run balls he threw all last year, and that's one of those short ones here in this ballpark that you're going to get for your team, and then you're going to give up. That's an out, in most other ballparks, but not here. Here's Kochman. It's a fastball, and he gets it elevated. It's warm tonight, so it's carrying. And it lands in the plants, I think. Yep.
So Rich Doobie out to the mound to talk to Brad Lidge. The bases are empty. It's a 10-6 game.
Well, this is one of those, all right, let's go. Let's start all over. Nobody on base, nobody out, like the inning just started.
Well, after the ball game, Kevin Walsh will be live from Citizens Bank Park with reactions from both teams, plus highlights from A-Rod's season debut and updates from the NBA and the NHL playoffs. All this and more on Sports Night. That's tonight at 10, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Good slider from Lidge, and the count is 0-1.
Greg Norton's on deck to bat from the pitcher spot, Bennett's spot.
Another slider. It's 0-2. You wonder if he, because I don't remember any sliders to the first three hitters.
Yeah, he was throwing a lot of fastballs, just trying to get his fastball location, get some work in. And now all of a sudden, like I said, all right, 3 runs. Now let's go get them.
3 straight sliders, and the count remains 0-2. Well, that pitch for Lidge was his 12th of this inning. So Ryan Matson is up and loosening for the Phillies.
Yeah, that was the other thing about having a nice, comfortable, come in, get your work done, and get the inning over with, and it's not turning out that way.
Line drive foul. Look out. Schaefer's 0 for 2. He walked his last time up. He's got a couple fastballs. He just fought off the last one. And it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now the Phillies offense has come to life tonight with 10 runs on 8 hits. Now 4 runs are unearned. So they have capitalized. And they've driven a few out of the ballpark, which is a good sign. 1-2 pitch. Got him. He went back to the slider, and he picks up the first out of the inning. And Greg Norton will be the batter.
Throwing a lot of breaking balls to the young player Schaefer. And Jordan fought off a couple fastballs, and then he finally got him to chase that slider.
Norton 2 for 19 as a pinch hitter. He and Greg Dobbs were 2 of the better pinch hitters in the league last year. And Lidge starts him off with a slider and tight.
Norton is a switch hitter. He's always been a really good left-handed hitter, and just so from the right side.
On the outside corner, a slider that drops in on the black, and the count 1-1. Braves got Norton from the Seattle Mariners. Kind of revitalized him because he played an awful lot last year. Hang in there, guys. There's still some time. Hanging on that dugout, hoping they get a souvenir from somebody.
There's kids here tonight.
See what Wheels is talking about with Norton, the number of home runs against right-handed pitching compared to left-handed pitching.
He's really always been a really good fastball hitter from the left side, with that fastball frozen, Tommy.
And that was unhittable for Norton right on the inside corner, and they're 2 away. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lidge.
Yeah, this thing looks like it runs a little. I don't know. I don't ever remember seeing him start one at a hitter like that and run it over the plate. That'd be kind of good if he could control that.
Absolutely.
Because they don't expect that from Lidge.
2 away. Omar Infante, he homered. his last time up. And another good slider. Well, the slider looks good tonight. I mean, at least to the last 3 hitters, he didn't throw it much to McCann, to Francoeur, or Kochman.
Hey, Lidge is mortal this year. It was just an unbelievable season the guy had last season.
And now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 1 strike away from finishing this one off. And now this sold out crowd of more than 45,000 to their feet. The 1-2 the count. In the air to left center field. Abanez on the run. Got it. And the ball game is over. Brad Lidge allows 3 in the 9th inning, but he's able to get the next 3 hitters with relative ease. And the Phillies will maintain at least a half a game lead in the National League East as they take game 1 of this 3-game series against the Atlanta Braves. Again, this has been a tough stretch of games for the Phillies. It'll continue this weekend, continue throughout the week, and it's nice to get off on a good note tonight against these Atlanta Braves. Our Chevrolet player of the